Hey everybody, welcome back to The Pressing Matters. I'm Scott. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. It's no secret to viewers of my channel that I'm very interested in percussion records. It goes back to the beginning of when I started collecting records. As a matter of fact, it probably goes back to when I was a kid hitting pots and pans in my mom's kitchen. I've always liked the sound of something hitting metal or wood. And when I discovered percussion records, it was a joy to me, and I collected a lot of percussion records over the years in both pop and classical veins. I'm going to show you a couple examples of things in my collection. Some are famous, some not so famous, but one of the most famous pop ones is this, and audiophiles know this record. It's by Dick Shorey and the New Percussion Ensemble. It's called Music for Bang, Ballroom, and Harp. The original is on RCA Living Stereo. There are reissues on classic records and analog productions as well. I also have the 4x45 because I love this record. This is the most fun and most well-recorded percussion record in the pop vein that I've ever heard. And if you don't know this, you definitely need to check this out. That's a great one. Viewers of the channel also know that I've been reviewing Command records, and Command started their series with percussion records. This one's called Persuasive Percussion by Terry Snyder and the All-Stars. A wonderful record as well in a pop vein. Popular tunes arranged for percussion. It's really fun. But I also explored this genre in classical music too. I have a rare sealed copy of this Time record, which is my backup. And no, it's not for sale for $1.99. It's called Concert Percussion for Orchestra. So this is serious work for percussion, headed off by a composition by John Cage, and there's Henry Cowell, Lou Harrison, and others on this record. This is really cool. I love this record. Another one that's an audiophile favorite is this one. It's called Pulse. Works for percussion and strings, also featuring music by John Cage, Lou Harrison, Henry Cowell, and others. This is by the New Music Consort. This was put out on New World Records, and then Classic picked it up and did a reissue. And they also did a rare 45 of the John Cage piece, which I have too. As I said, I love percussion. Here's another one. That's a great, great record from this fabulous None Such series. None Such did a modern music series and has a lot of percussion works in it and avant-garde stuff. And this is by Charles Warrian, and it's called Percussion Symphony, the New Jersey Percussion Ensemble. This one sounds magnificent and kind of was my benchmark with these other two as I listened to Smoke and Mirrors. This is mastered by Robert Ludwig, and it's wonderful. That's also my sealed backup. I love that record too. And finally, this is a rare one. It's on a label called Gale. Gale was an audiophile label. Their tagline is Maximum Fidelity Recordings, and they are. It's called Music for Percussion, Volume 1. It's Tristan Fry Percussion Ensemble. These are really nice, and they come in these luxurious boxes. Yeah, that's a great one. It has a work by Chavez on it. So it was really with interest that I reached out to Yarlung Records. I had never had a Yarlung record before. I knew peripherally about them that they were like a purist audiophile type recording, but I never recognized any of the artists, so I didn't bite. But I decided after looking at this record to contact Yarlung, and I spoke to the recording engineer, Bob Attiyeh. And Bob and I had a conversation about this, and he said, yeah, I'd be happy to send you one. This is a reissue of a recording that was done in 2011 and 2012. I think it was put out shortly thereafter in the first edition. It's just been recently reissued, and I wanted to cover this reissue for you because I'm very, very impressed with it. It's actually become my reference for a percussion record. I did a review for Audiophilia, so you can read a written review that goes into a lot of detail. I'm quite proud of that review. So I'll leave a link to that if you want to take a look at it. I'll try to recap some of that here. This is cut at 45 RPM. It's a single record. It has works. It's going to be a little tough to do these names. It was much easier to write them. Works by Avner Dorman, Diego Schisi, Derek Taiwaniuk, and Maurice Ravel. Derek is in the ensemble, so these are pieces that he composed. These are classical pieces, and the percussion ensemble consists of, well, in this record, there's drums, there's marimba, there's triangles, there's coffee cans, there's gongs, there's xylophone, and a number of other instruments. This record is magical, absolutely magical. The compositions are so fascinating. And I want to say something about this that I missed in the written review. Yarlung Records is a nonprofit. They are not out for profit. They are not making a fortune selling records, that's for sure. What they're about is bringing artists that haven't had exposure into the studio and giving them audiophile type recordings. Bob Attiyeh is the man recording these, and he is a perfectionist. They also commission new works, and I thought that was really interesting as well. So it's really a different kind of company. The fortunate thing is, even though it's music focused, we have Bob Attiyeh there, and he is an amazing engineer. He's working with single microphone techniques in very interesting reverberant spaces, recording direct to the tape machine, just going through a tube preamp designed exclusively by Yarlung, and with minimal, as a matter of fact, no manipulation whatsoever. There's no compression, there's no limiting, there is no EQ. And you might say, how can there be no EQ? There's 4 mastering engineers listed on this record, including Steve Hoffman and lacquer mastering by Bernie Grunman. Don't they do any EQ? The answer is no. And that was the surprising answer that I got from Bob. He told me that Steve Hoffman is listed as a mastering engineer, but his role is more as a consultant. Their friendship goes back many years. And when the idea for recording starts to formulate and the recording space is defined, Bob and Steve work on the layout. So where the musicians are going to be positioned, where the microphone is going to be positioned, what microphone to use. And in this case, this was recorded in Zipper Hall in Los Angeles. I had never heard of it, but I took a look at the pictures of it, and I was like, wow, this looks like it could be a magical space to record in for small ensembles. And as a matter of fact, it is. It's perfect for chamber music and small ensembles like this. Well, another nice feature of Zipper Hall is it can be adjusted. So that's where the EQ, quote unquote, comes in. They adjust curtains, they adjust movable walls and things like this to get the sound that they want without having to do EQ. So that's where Steve Hoffman comes in, and Bob and he work out the details of how that's going to work and have to go through painstaking process, including going all the way to test pressings before they know if they captured what they wanted to. From there, Bernie Grunman cuts the lacquer, and he cuts it without doing any tonal adjustments, just cutting the lacquer, which probably makes him happy. He works with Bob Attiyeh, and Bob controls the groove spacing by following a score. This is something that I've read about before. I think with Mercury Living Presence, they used to do this too. is to avoid groove echo. They want to control the groove spacing. So if something big is coming up, they allow for more space, so there's no bleed over into another groove. I thought that was amazing too. So, when you think of all these techniques that go into making this record, it's quite an achievement. How does it stand up musically? Musically, it was wonderful. One of my favorite percussion records. It's absolutely magical. There's 5 tracks on here. The first 2, I'm going to try to pronounce these titles. Udakrep Akubrad. Features marimbas mainly, but coffee cans and a couple of other things, drums. It evokes a Middle Eastern atmosphere in my mind, and it's absolutely mesmerizing. The sound is unbelievable. The decay in the hall, the touch of the mallets, the woody resonance of the marimbas. It's just beautiful, really beautiful. Never does it, even in the most powerful moments, never does it get into any distortion. Everything is clear, dynamic, with lots of detail, but natural detail. It feels like you're in the recording space. If you've ever attended a live percussion event, you know what to expect. And that's exactly what I hear on here. This is a wonderful piece. That's followed by Juego de Reojes, otherwise known as Game of Clocks. Now, this piece is absolutely fantastic. It suggests ticking clocks, chiming clocks. It's not just a barrage of sound, though. It's very intricate, precise, beautiful. Sometimes it feels like the alarms of clocks going off. It's probably the showpiece on the album, and one that probably will be used in demonstrations of high-end equipment. It really shows off so much about a system. Really beautiful. The second side has Vanish, Happenstance, and a work by Maurice Ravel called Sonatine. Vanish and Happenstance are both interesting as well. Vanish has acoustic piano in it, which gives it a different character from the rest of the album. Starts out kind of contemplative with other percussion instruments around the piano, and then moves into a little bit more intensity. Also, Happenstance is also beautiful. Solo marimba, which is just beautiful, jewel-like sound. The last track is Sonatine by Maurice Ravel. It's a transcription for percussion ensemble, and that's beautiful as well. It ends the work or the record on a high note of glittering beauty. The record is recorded really well. The original copies, I have not heard one, were pressed at Palace, and this is pressed at Palace too. My copy was mostly quiet. It needed cleaning, though, of course, as any record does. Clean it deeply, and you'll be rewarded by beautiful, beautiful sound. If you enjoy percussion records, as I do, you'll fall head over heels for this one. Smoke Mirrors Percussion Ensemble is one of the best percussion records I've ever heard. It's beautifully performed, and the music is absolutely captivating. It's a record that I can listen to over and over and discover new things about it each time. I can't recommend this highly enough. This is really, really something special. And by supporting this, you're supporting a nonprofit venture that is bringing new music into the world. And that's a wonderful thing as well. So I just wanted to give you a few details and a few musical impressions on this. Please do read the written review for a more coherent message from me. It's much easier for me to write than it is to do a video. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Bob for sending this record to me. I really appreciate it, and it will hold a treasured place in my collection. Until next time, I'm Scott for The Pressing Matters. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.